My husband's childhood friend said, "Your husband prefers my seasoning," and started making lunch for my husband every day. My husband Jeffrey was completely won over by her, and no matter how much I warned him, he wouldn't listen. She was delighted to have won over my husband's stomach. One day she arrived at our home with her signature lunches in hand, so as requested, we all enjoyed her lunch together. Would her cooking really appeal to anyone besides my husband? The childhood friend who makes my lunch for my husband every day. She seemed confident in her cooking, so I decided to give it a try. They say life revolves around eating, but preparing meals every day is really tough, especially with growing children or the elderly with smaller appetites. You need to adjust nutrition and portions for each person, and everyone has their dislikes. Preparing meals is truly challenging. To all the homemakers out there, well done. Preparing meals, huh? I find planning the menu more exhausting than actually cooking. I understand. I want to make what the kids like, but then I worry about nutrition and my husband gets bored. I once told my wife, just make something simple and quick, and she totally blew up at me. I regretted that. Everyone's facing their own struggles. Since it's an everyday thing, you can't really escape it. I'm approaching 20 years of marriage soon, and boy, have I done a lot of cooking over these 2 decades. Especially when I lived with my in-laws, we were feeding a family of 6. I had 2 boys during their growth spurts, so they ate a lot. Is that so? Rachel, you're amazing. Even cooking for just the 2 of us keeps me busy. I have nothing but respect. I can't cook at all. Looking back, it was tough, but gathering around the table with the family was always enjoyable. The kids also said they loved my cooking. That alone has kept me going this far. Now, let me share something I want everyone to hear about my husband. It's about my husband and our cooking adventures. Can I start? Oops, did the topic suddenly change direction? I thought we were hearing a nice story about family. Cooking and husbands sounds like a combination that could cause some trouble. Tell us. Thank you. So let's begin. My husband is healthy and in his 40s, just like me. He's a serious company employee, a quiet husband, and a kind father to our children. My ordinary life with such a husband was disrupted when his childhood friend returned to the neighborhood. At the time we were remodeling the house, we shared with my parents-in-law who had passed away, and our family of 4 was living there. It was winter, around the time our eldest son had decided to go to university. Conversations were rife about the eldest son living alone in the spring and whether he would finally leave home. Then one day, a woman visited our house. This was my husband's childhood friend, Allison. When Allison came to visit, we were just having dinner as a family of 4 around the table. When the intercom rang, I went to answer it, and there was Allison, introducing herself as my husband's childhood friend. I quickly went to get my husband, and the 2 of them started chatting nostalgically.
Allison, it's been a while. Are you visiting home?
I moved back to my parents' home yesterday, so I thought I'd come say hello to a certain mister who lives nearby and let him know I'll be around.
Allison, you got married and moved out of town, right? You moved back. Are your parents sick or something?
Well, I'm worried about my parents, but the truth is, I'm getting a divorce. We've decided to live separately.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, Allison. I shouldn't have pried.
The word divorce made my husband speechless. I didn't know what to say either, and an awkward atmosphere filled the air. And then, to dispel this atmosphere, my husband...
Hey, wanna come up? I'll introduce you to my sons,
he said, trying to smooth things over. I was like, huh? In my mind. But contrary to my feelings, Allison boldly said, Yay! Is it okay? Then I'll gladly accept your offer. Excuse me, coming through. And she confidently went upstairs. Now it was my turn to feel flustered. Looks like a troublesome childhood friend has appeared. It's her first appearance, but I'm not a fan of Allison. Did Allison greet you, Rachel? Did she just ignore you, who is Jeffrey's wife? Yeah, that's right. Thanks everyone for understanding. To be honest, I couldn't help but think, who is this woman? As you pointed out, Allison completely ignored me. Even when she came into the house, she didn't even bother to check with me. So my first impression of Allison was the worst. Allison barged into our dining table. Good evening. Are those boys adorable? They look so much like their father. And Jeffrey, haven't you turned into quite the handsome man? You used to be chubby, but still cute back in the day, she said with a teasing tone, and the boys just stared blankly. Further after, meat and potatoes, grilled fish, and spinach? That's it. Feels just like my mom's cooking. I haven't had such a retro meal in a while. It's so nostalgic. Oh, what an incredibly rude thing to say. After making all those cutesy high-pitched remarks, Allison quickly scurried away. An unpleasant atmosphere then settled over our dinner table.
Who was that person? Their perfume was so strong. Could you please open a window? It's overwhelming my appetite. Is this a retro meal? I love it, but I wonder if it's something to be laughed at. Sorry about that. Allison is my childhood friend, but she's always been high energy.
That's what my husband said to my sons, but I'm absolutely offended by Allison's comment. I definitely felt there was hostility towards me. I'll explain later why Allison showed such hostility towards me, but anyway, Allison suddenly appeared like this and disrupted our family life. A few days after Allison came to greet us after moving, my husband came home with an unfamiliar lunchbox, and with the appearance of that lunchbox, the bell rang for my battle with Allison. Hey, what's with that lunchbox?
Oh, this? Allison gave it to me this morning. Man, it was delicious.
Huh? Allison made lunch for you? Why would she do that?
Well, it seems she remembered my favorite food and made it for me.
My husband said gleefully with a grin, but I was just left wondering why. So when I questioned my husband about it, it turned out that since the day of that meeting, Allison had been waiting for my husband in front of the house when he leaves for work. Good morning. Do your best at work today. It seems she was seeing off my husband like this every day, and today she handed him a lunchbox at that moment. If you think about it normally, it's a strange sight. Handing over a lunchbox seems intentional. And the husband who eats that lunchbox is also strange, right? Didn't Rachel make lunch for her husband? Well, you see, I haven't been making lunch for my husband. He mentioned a few years ago.
There are days with lunch meetings, and sometimes colleagues or subordinates invite me to eat out. On the flip side, there are times I'm too busy to take a lunch break. If I can't eat it, it's a waste, so it's okay with a lunchbox.
He said that, so I stopped making it. So maybe Allison observed my husband's belongings every morning and noticed that he didn't have a lunchbox. Did she then give him a lunchbox? Even though it's Allison we're talking about, I was still angry with my husband for accepting it so easily. So I told him firmly, if you need a lunchbox, I'll make it. So don't accept Allison's lunchbox anymore. I made that clear to him. Despite that, you know. From that day on, my husband brought home Allison's lunchbox almost every day.
Well, she went through the trouble of making it, so I'd be in a fix if I didn't take it.
He said that with a troubled expression, but his twisted smirk clearly showed he was pleased. He's completely swept off his feet, isn't he? I thought he might end up having an affair like this. So determined to put a stop to my husband's reckless behavior, I followed my husband to work and confronted him the moment Allison handed him the lunch. You said I would make the lunches, right?
Oh no, Rachel. What are you doing here?
Oh my, it's your wife, isn't it? Are you talking about the lunch? It's all right. Since your husband enjoys it so much, it gives me joy to make it too. Oh no, that's not good. It's not proper for someone else to make my husband's lunch. You said you didn't eat lunch today, didn't you? So why are you accepting this person's lunch? Why lie to me and eat this person's lunch?
Rachel, please, calm down. But Allison made it out of kindness.
Oh my, your husband lied about not needing lunch and chose to have my lunch instead. Isn't that what it all boils down to, dear? Your husband prefers my lunch over yours, because he told me so. He said your cooking is too bland. Huh? Did you really say that?
Well, sorry. But Allison's lunches are full of my favorite fried pork and fried chicken. The seasoning is just how I like it, so I couldn't resist.
Fried pork? Fried chicken? Didn't your recent health check show some concerning results? You need to watch your fat intake. Eating those kind of things is not good for you. You're always so preachy. Food made by someone like you isn't delicious anyway. I'll continue making lunch for your husband. Your husband seems to like my seasoning, huh? Allison said triumphantly as she finished saying all this and promptly left the scene. And there I was, left with my husband. Naturally, I blamed my husband. Why did Allison say all that to me? Who does she think she is, barging into our conversation like that?
No, Rachel, don't blame Allison. She's doing it to please me.
It's weird even if you're childhood friends. Making handmade lunches for a married man? Anyway, please stop it now. And don't eat that lunch either. When I was at my wit's end, trying to take the lunch from my husband, he stopped me. And then...
Allison made it for me. It's none of your business.
With that, he stormed off. Seeing him like that, I was convinced. I wanted to prevent cheating, but it was already too late. Since there was still no evidence that they were cheating, I decided to investigate a little. Of course, I intended to divorce. During that time, I kept silent to my husband. I didn't make any lunches either, and I didn't talk to my husband more than necessary. I didn't mention Allison at all. Then, thinking he was relieved that I didn't say anything, my husband continued to bring home Allison's lunch boxes. It was frustrating, but I endured it to keep my husband on the hook. I really wanted to quickly investigate my husband's affair and proceed with the divorce, but at that time, there was something else I wanted to prioritize more than my husband. I decided to focus on that first. It is about my eldest son who is leaving home to go to college. Preparing for his move was my top priority, and in no time the day came when my eldest son moved out. It was supposed to be a very emotional day for me, but then Allison appeared again. It seemed like my husband invited her. On the day of my eldest son's move, many people, including neighborhood mom friends, my son's friends, came to help. And as everyone was diligently working, suddenly Allison showed up. Allison appeared with a large lunchbox in hand and said, "I made lunch for everyone today, so shall we have lunch soon?" That's what she proposed. My husband quickly moved next to Allison.
Allison worked enthusiastically since this morning, making various things. Let's all eat together. Allison's cooking is delicious, you know,
he said with a smirk, and he was impressing the mom friends and my son's friends, but Allison never reached the air. "It seems like Rachel here isn't good at cooking. So recently Jeffrey has become addicted to my cooking. Come on everyone, please enjoy. Isn't it nice, dear? Please leave it to me today." Because she said it with such confidence, I decided I wanted to see Allison's skills for myself. So I said, "Okay then. Allison, please take care of today's lunch." And I encouraged my sons to eat the lunch Allison had made.
What's this dish? I've never seen it before.
This is pad thai, a Thai dish. And here are fresh spring rolls.
Smells a little... I can't eat it. Is this bread? It's filled with all sorts of things.
This is my specialty sandwich, Rachel. Doesn't it look pretty? It looks great, doesn't it? It's very filling.
It's a bit hard to eat. It all spilled out.
The hungry kids, especially my sons, struggled with Allison's cooking. Of course, there were Allison's special fried pork and fried chicken that my husband said were delicious, but...
This fried chicken is too salty. I need water. And this fried pork over here smells kinda weird.
That's a cutlet. The batter has cheese mixed into it. It's kind of Italian style and really delicious. And so everyone was not eating at all. Then my youngest son, who had had enough, said,
"Mom, you were preparing lunch since this morning, right? For everyone? Can't you bring that out? I want to eat that."
He started saying that. I brought out the lunch I made and started offering it to everyone. Then, well, not to brag, but everyone's appetite picked up and they kept eating and eating.
The sushi roll is delicious. One more. It's tacos. I really love this.
It went on like that, and everyone kept clearing their plates. My youngest son, innocently enough,
"Hey Allison, how about you try some of my mom's lunch? You'll be surprised at how delicious it is."
Brian enthusiastically urged Allison to try his lunch, leaving her slightly perplexed. Allison, however, stubbornly refused to eat my lunch. And in the end, my lunchbox was empty, while Allison's still had leftovers. "Why is your lunch better than mine? I'm more stylish and I put more effort into the taste too. Ugh, these people must have no taste buds." Allison grumbled in frustration, but then my youngest son chimed in.
"Actually, Dad is the one with no taste buds. It's been like that since I was a kid. Grandma says so too. My mom, she's a cooking YouTube star. She's very popular with over 100,000 channel subscribers."
He firmly countered. Allison was wide-eyed in astonishment. So Rachel's husband is officially taste blind? That's why Allison's cooking was okay then. No wait, Rachel's a YouTuber? A cooking channel? That's impressive. Well, actually what the younger son said is true. My husband seems to have been taste blind since he was young. Anyway, he preferred strongly flavored foods and apparently he was quite chubby during his student days. But my mother-in-law was worried about him, so she studied cooking intensively and implemented thorough nutritional management. Thanks to that, my husband has been able to maintain good health. And after we got married, I took over that role. My mother-in-law was worried about my husband's diet and gave me various advice. So following her example, I made sure to provide my husband with healthy meals. Well, when dining out with colleagues or friends, it seems he preferred strongly flavored foods. I would adjust his overindulgence when we got home, and that's the stance I've taken to support him all this time. So becoming a cooking researcher and YouTuber was really an extension of that. Everyone wants their family to eat healthy meals, but figuring out what's ideal can be challenging, right? And since my mother-in-law taught me about this, I decided to share it through videos. Like meals that are good to eat after consuming too many calories the day before, or how to make delicious chicken soup with less salt. Fortunately, those videos caught on and I became somewhat famous as a YouTuber. Of course, my husband knew about all this. I wonder if I ever told Allison about it. So that's how it was. Rachel is amazing. I want to see that YouTube video. Your husband is a scoundrel. Allison must be embarrassed. She was trying to one-up the cooking expert with her own cooking. Yeah, Allison's face turned red when she found out the truth. It seems Allison also knows about my channel. Why didn't you tell me? I can't compete with a popular cooking expert. Now she's angry with my husband. My husband looked embarrassed and flustered when she was angry with him. After that, Allison left in a huff, and my husband followed after her, looking ashamed. Finally, it felt like the nuisance was gone. Afterward, we diligently finished the moving preparations, and my son and friends went ahead to the new house. After seeing off the moving truck, I continued preparing to go to my eldest son's new home. Just then, my husband returned home. It seemed Allison had torn him to shreds verbally. He returned home looking completely dejected. I confronted him with reality. I'm going to my eldest son's new home now. And then I'll go to our new home too.
Huh? What do you mean?
Oh, well, my youngest son and I are also moving to a different house starting today. So it was a major moving preparation, right? I'm grateful that you came to help us.
Huh? Huh? What does that mean? So you and the youngest son are leaving too?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, could you just write this down? My lawyer will come to pick it up later, so could you have it ready by then?
Huh? Is this divorce papers? Why? Why?
Because you cheated with Allison, isn't that why? There's plenty of evidence, so there's no excuse.
Allison was just making me lunches. Yeah, I was just making lunches. Yeah.
What are you mumbling about? It's not just that kind of relationship, right? I investigated, you know. I didn't have time, so I even asked a detective. There's plenty of photographic evidence. Look at this, for example. There's no escaping this. When I confronted my husband with evidence of the affair, he gave in right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel. It escalated a bit, or rather, things got out of hand. Allison was so diligently making me lunches. Somehow I started to feel happy.
That may be true, but cheating is cheating. I won't forgive that. And I absolutely won't forgive Allison either.
I'm done with that. I won't even eat the lunches, so please forgive me.
No way, I will never forgive you. I've already told Allison's husband about the affair, so maybe Allison's husband will ask for alimony. Of course, I'll also make a claim. I'll also claim child support for our sons. You need to fulfill those responsibilities properly.
No, Rachel, please don't leave me. I can't give you alimony. It was just a little affair.
It wasn't just a little affair. Once is enough for me. Well, I'm leaving now. Oh, by the way, you've gotten a bit fatter lately, haven't you? You'll have to take care of your own health from now on. And with that, I left. I hurried to my eldest son's new home. As soon as I found out about my husband's affair, I told my sons about my decision to get a divorce. My sons had noticed my husband's strange behavior lately. They were understanding about my decision to divorce, and my youngest son said he would come with me. So I had decided to move out of this house with my youngest son on the day of my eldest son's move. I had already hired a lawyer to handle the divorce. Allison was still living separately from her husband and was receiving financial support from him, even though the divorce was not yet finalized. And in that situation, she had an affair. Allison's husband was quite angry. In the first place, Allison had brought up the idea of divorce to her husband because he had gained over 20 kilograms since their wedding. And it seemed that the reason was that he had recently become ill and had to take a leave of absence from work. Allison said, "He's gotten fat and ugly and he can't work anymore. There's no benefit in being married to someone like this." She seemed to say that and stormed out of the house. I knew, but what a terrible woman. And then upon returning, she had a reunion with my husband. Allison only knew my husband from the old days when he was chubby. It seems she wanted to snatch him away after seeing him slimmed down and refreshed, so it seems she had animosity towards me from the beginning. Allison is unbelievable. She abandoned her husband as soon as he fell ill. Allison's husband got fat and sick because of Allison's dangerous cooking. That might be true. In fact, my husband started eating Allison's cooking and got fat again. After that, my husband and I divorced and he paid me proper compensation. I intend to collect child support properly from now on. My husband is whining, but he'll have to tough it out. And in the end, Allison also got divorced and paid compensation. It seems Allison was kicked out of her parents' house and now lives with my husband. I wonder if those two will stay together like this. So they're living together after all? Well, maybe Allison just had nowhere else to go. But is your husband okay? Will he keep eating Allison's cooking? Even though you and your mother-in-law were careful about health. Well, that's true. It's surprising they're living together, but maybe they had no other choice. And from what I've heard from acquaintances, my ex-husband seems to be getting fatter. It's really surprising how quickly things went downhill, despite all the effort he put into it. Right now, I'm living peacefully with my younger son. Almost every day, I receive photos of the dishes he cooked that day from my eldest son. My eldest son is living a healthy lifestyle on his own. I feel really proud and happy about his growth. Lately, even my younger son seems to be interested in cooking. Now he's been joining me more often in the kitchen. Recently, we even started posting videos of simple recipes we make together, just the two of us. I'm enjoying my life. I'm determined to continue working hard to protect my family's health. For 20 years of marriage, Rachel had been attentive to her husband's health through daily meals. However, due to the sudden lunchbox attacks from his childhood friend, her husband went straight down an unhealthy path. From now on, her husband will surely long for the healthy lifestyle Rachel provided. But it was her husband who gave that up. Now, he has no choice but to manage on his own. Health is built up day by day, meal by meal. So if you're living healthily every day now, there must be someone supporting your health. Keep this truth in your heart and live each day to the fullest.